welcome back. My name is Cyan if you're new here, and today we are going to be using my TBR prompt jar to help me select the books that I'm going to be reading, in the month of February. So we're going to select 5 prompts from this and hopefully be able to read those books for the month of February. So let's get into it. Okay, so this says YA/contemporary. I think for this, I'm gonna go with Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I think that this is like a YA like fantasy like romance. As I don't think it's anything crazy because my mom let me buy this. I had this book for a long time, low key. First edition 2016. Okay, so I've had this since 2016. So I've had this. I really had this book since I was 12. Okay, anyways, we're gonna be picking Heartless by Marissa Meyer, which I think this is just a YA like romantasy. Hopefully none of you guys are like upset with like about me like technically using like a fantasy book for this, even though it says like contemporary, but I just don't have any contemporary that I currently own. And one of my goals for 2026 is to read and like slim down like my physical TBR. So I'm gonna pick Heartless. It's a book that I've been wanting to read for a while. It's an Alice in Wonderland Queen of Hearts retelling. So I'm super excited to get to this one, which is why we're going to go with this. Oh, perfect. Okay, so this one says romance, which I'm excited for this because I have a reading challenge that I want to record this month, and the only way I'm going to be able to do that challenge is if I have romance books. Okay, so for this one, we are gonna pick A Touch of Malice. So this is the third book in the Hades and Persephone saga by Scarlett St. Clair, and I've been flying through these books. I've really enjoyed reading this series. This is just kind of like a retelling of Hades and Persephone, and it takes like a modern, it's like urban, modern, and yeah, I can't really tell you much about like what goes on in this book without spoiling anything from the second one, but A Touch of Darkness basically Hades and Persephone enter into this like bargain slash like contract like agreement thing, and if she can't create like life in the underworld, then she'll have to stay in the underworld essentially, and then like with it being like a romantasy, they end up like falling in love. That's kind of what happens with Hades and Persephone, anyways. It's a little bit of a turn on it, but yeah, I'm gonna pick A Touch of Malice just because I have been wanting to read this one and I am super excited to get to it. So we're gonna go with that one. Okay, a book from my previous TBR. Okay, so there's actually only one book that I can pick that I didn't get to in the month of January, and it's the only one that I really like truly remember like not getting to of any of the books that I've recently read, and that is The Thorns Remain. So this is like I think it's like a fantasy with like a side of romance, as far as I know. But essentially, the main character, she has to rescue her mortal friends from this lord of fairies because essentially they all ended up like dancing around like a fire together, and then the mortals kind of got like taken by some of the fairies because they were probably intoxicated. And yeah, so this mortal woman is just trying to get back her friends from the fairylands and this fairy lord, and I'm betting that they fall in love because it's just typically what happens with these books. But it takes place like right after World War I, so I wonder how much is going to stay like historically accurate to World War I and how much is going to be like similar to like that time period of like, oh, there are guns, there are tanks, there's things like that, with just like with it being like fairies involved, just because usually with fairies you don't really see a lot of like urban or like modern elements. So I'm excited to see what this book brings for us. Next we have our fourth prompt. Oh, this says an audiobook. Okay, we're gonna go with I think it's Bright We Burn by Kirsten White, sorry. And that is the third and final book in this is not it's not the Anti Darken trilogy. Um I think it's like the Conquerors like trilogy or saga or whatever. It's a Vlad the Impaler retelling. So I'm gonna go with that because I did in the month of January. I did a reread of this, and then I also read Now I Rise. And I don't own Bright We Burn, and I don't think it's a book that I would want to buy. But I did notice on Goodreads, I think it has like a 4.1 something like star rating. So I'm gonna go with the third book in this Conqueror saga and have that be my audiobook for the month. That one's actually so nice because February is also a shorter month. So pulling an audiobook that makes my life a lot easier. We're really hoping for something like romance, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Oh, this one's also so nice too. So this one just says freebie slash like I get to pick a book. I'm gonna pick Wild Love by Elsie Silver. So this is again a romance book, and I have a reading challenge that I want to do this month, and it revolves around most of us booktubers are probably going to be doing this where we're reading romance books because Valentine's Day is in February. But I've also just been wanting to get to this because I recently got it for Christmas and I really liked the Chestnut Spring series by L.T. Silver. So this is a little bit different. It's more of like a small town romance series with the Rose Hill like quartet that she has going on. But all of these are just interconnected like stories. But this is technically book one, and this takes place with Willa Grant's like older brother. Ford Grant is one of the main characters, and then him and his I think best friend's little sister end up like dating, and then also he has like a child, and he's like becomes like a single dad, which is not something that I've ever read before. And then he's also a billionaire, so there's just kind of a lot of like tropes going on in this book. So I'm gonna see how Elsie writes it and how well I end up liking it. But I think she's a singer, and then he's just like a recording like producer, I think. So I'm gonna go with Wild Love by Elsie Silver for this pick, which that's super exciting. Okay, so these are my four physical picks that I have to read for the month of February. I'm super excited. I got a lot of books that I'm actually super excited for, and then obviously my audiobook as well. Yeah, these are the five books that I will be reading for the month of February. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you guys have read any of these books, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about them. Um, Potentially like as spoiler free as possible, just for other people that maybe haven't read the book, and then also like if I'm currently reading the book. But yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on any of these books and maybe what you guys are reading this month in February.